I'm here in the magnificent Duomo, or Cathedral of Milan, and I've seen so many of these Gothic churches around the world, but this is really one of the most magnificent I've ever seen. The sheer height of it, and then the decoration, the sculpture both inside and out, but then the windows. There's a magnificent, huge window in the apse, which is a very unusual feature. So it's been wonderful to see this place. But by far the most moving thing was it's actually now under the plaza of this cathedral. It was the foundation of the ancient cathedral that St. Ambrose would have known, that St. Augustine would have known. And we went down now to the bowels of that place, and we found the baptismal font, the pool, the eight-sided octagonal pool, where Augustine was baptized in the year 387 by St. Ambrose. And it was just, for me, an incredibly moving experience to stand there. And you see the stones, you see the remnants of the tile on the bottom of the pool, and you think these two great saints, two of the most significant figures in the history of the church, were there, one baptizing the other. I've been reading Augustine all my life and been moved, as so many have been, by his story, by his great mind, his even greater heart. And to stand in that spot where he stood and was baptized by Ambrose was extraordinarily powerful. And what I said in the stand-up was, from that little pool went forth truly a flood of living water, because the whole church was massively changed because of Augustine, and indeed all the Western civilization. Without Augustine, Thomas Aquinas is unthinkable. Without Augustine, the whole structure of our theology is unthinkable. With the possible exception of Paul, I mean, he's the most significant player in the ancient church. And so my own sense of priesthood, my own sense of now being a bishop, it was just very powerful to be in that place. I would hope that anyone hearing these words, watching these images, might be inspired to pick up the works of Augustine, especially the Confessions. Many have said it's the first great autobiography. In fact, in some ways, he invents the genre of autobiography. Augustine invents the word. He invented it, soliloquia. So Shakespeare's soliloquies, this sort of internal dialogue, would be unthinkable apart from the Confessions. But the Confessions, ultimately amount to a prayer. It's a prayer overheard. Augustine, throughout that great book, is addressing God in the familiar form of the pronoun you. He's addressing God throughout. And we're given the privilege of listening in as he dialogues with God and tells the story of their relationship. I think anybody who has a restless heart, and that means anybody in the world, can benefit from this great overheard prayer. Because Augustine realized finally that his restless heart would not be satisfied by any of the sensual goods of the world. And believe me, he experienced them. He participated in them. That's a large part of the drama of the Confessions. Here's a man who led a very active sexual life, who sought pleasure in all the goods of the world. He also sought joy in the higher and finer things, philosophy and the arts. But his soul kept searching. And so finally he realized, my heart is restless, Lord, until it rests in thee. It's only in the infinite good of God that we really find satisfaction for our restless heart. It was that desire that led him to baptism, just outside where I'm standing right now. That desire that led him to write his great works. That desire which has echoed up and down the ages in anyone who reads Augustine's writings. So, as you're probably guessing, I think Augustine's an important figure. And I think especially for people today who are suffering from secularism, this new ideology in the West, which is mind-numbing and soul-suffocating. Read someone like Augustine and find your mind opened up to its proper object, which is the truth itself. Find your soul opened up to its proper object, which is goodness and beauty in themselves. Anyway, there's some musings as I stand here in this magnificent place and allow the memories of that time, as it were, to wash over me. And now, look forward 1,000 years from now. People will still be reading the writings of Augustine and finding them spiritually powerful. May we today again pick them up and benefit from them.